welcome back to another video, and today I have an absolutely epic Invoked SHADDOLL Dogmatika deck profile for you guys post the brand new ban list that's actually going to be in effect, I believe, tomorrow, which is really cool. I believe that this is a very powerful contender for the upcoming format, and of course, this, in my opinion, is just the perfect list to play it with. And without further ado, be sure to smash the like button and comment down below what you guys think of the deck and subscribe, because it's completely free and it helps me out a ton. I will really appreciate it. And of course, the deck list for this, the download for it, will be in the description. Yeah, you guys can go download the deck, play with it online, and exactly see why I think it is so good. First off, you have Triple Alistair, the Invoker. Obviously, Alistair is a great card. You have 7 total copies of it. On summon, it just straight up will search you for an invocation, which can be good for Makaba, but it's also a generic fusion spell, which is pretty nice. Double SHADDOLL Wendy, 1 Beast, 1 Skomata, 1 Hedgehog, and 1 Dragon, along with the 1 Aerial for a full SHADDOLL package. So 2 Wendy, because Wendy is the best one. Wendy just summons from your deck. Usually you will be going for the Beast and sitting on that, so the next turn you can draw 2 and then pitch 1 and then trigger whatever you discard's effect. 1 Dragon, obviously you can send this with Construct and so on. It's just great against backer decks, and its flip effect is really cool too, because it's compulse for any card instead of monsters. So Dragon is a good card too, but it is not the best. That's why we're not running any of these like other ones at more than 1. 1 SHADDOLL Hedgehog. Hedgehog is great when you are like in a simplified game state and you really need a fusion spell. Hedgehog will just straight up search you for your SHADDOLL fusion, and not to mention if it's sent to the graveyard and you really need it, you can just search for a SHADDOLL monster too, which is very great. 1 Skomata, obviously it's a Foolish Burial, and on flip it's spot removal, so Skomata is just a really great card. 1 Nail SHADDOLL Aerial. Aerial is great, especially because it just banishes straight up 3 cards from your opponent's graveyard. In a format where Engage is going to be prevalent, you can banish your opponent's Engage, which is really nice. And Aerial is just a pretty good card in my opinion, and I do think it deserves a 1 of spot. But yeah, I would say if you were to cut any of these, you can either cut Hedgehog or Aerial. Onto the Dogmatika package, we have 1 Ecclesia along with our 1 Fleur-de-Lis. Ecclesia on summon obviously searches you for a Dogmatika card, so this can be either your punishment or your Fleur-de-Lis, and obviously it can't be destroyed by battle with a monster summoned from the extra deck, which is a big deal to remember because yeah, it can save your life like sometimes if you're in that type of a game state. And Fleur-de-Lis, obviously it's another effect negation and a big body that will just keep on getting bigger each turn. Usually with Ecclesia, you will be searching the Fleur-de-Lis. Unless you already have it, you search punishment. But yeah, go for Fleur-de-Lis usually, because you don't want to lock yourself out of the extra deck in the next turn. So Fleur-de-Lis is generally a bit better. Double Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. We do have a big hand trap lineup, so I'm just going to say and explain why. So double Ash, double Bell, double Droll, double Veiler. And so, yeah, oh, and double Imprint too, but we'll get to that a bit later. Double Ash. Ash is very good. It's a bit less good this format, though, and that's why it's at 2 over here instead of 3. Though it is still a very powerful card that hits almost every single card in the game. Double Ghost Bell. Bell is very good this format. You can swap this out for DD Crow. Either one is great, and especially with Striker and stuff like that. This is a really great card. Double Droll and Lock Bird. Obviously, Droll against Drytron is a very powerful card, but not only against Drytron, like even against this deck, against a lot of decks, Droll is just a generically good card, so I believe that it should be main decked at least 2 in this format. Double Veiler, because if you haven't noticed, you don't actually have much lights in the deck for Construct, so Veiler acts as a great light. You can also run an Eldlick if you want, and like an Eldlick and then just 3 Imperm instead. But, yeah, no, I just prefer having the double Veiler. It's a great form of interruption, and I do think it's a bit better this format because effect negations are a bit more powerful. Hitting your opponent's Kagari is nice, and even their Hayate, stuff like that, it's really good. 1 Terraforming. Terraforming obviously searches you your triple Magical Meltdown, which searches you your triple Alistair. I really believe that Meltdown would have been limited, but that didn't happen. I do think it should happen in general, but Meltdown is just a very powerful card. You have 4 right now, which is really good, and then another 3 Alistair, so you really can't brick in this deck. You always have access to your engine pieces. It's very consistent. Double Invocation. Invocation is searchable off of Alistair. You don't need 3 of this card, but it is an incredibly powerful card. Also giving you a monster back for Recursion, follow-up, and a monster negate with Makaba in your upcoming turn. Invocation is just a hell of a card. Triple Nadir Servant. Nadir Servant obviously is so broken. Late game, going second, going first. Literally at any time, you can just send from your extra deck and then search your Ecclesia, search your Fleur-de-Lis. And it can also search from the graveyard too. So it doesn't have, that's why you're only running one Ecclesia, because you can also add it back from the grave, which is very good. The whole like synergy with the deck is that you can send App Clone, search your Ecclesia, and then App Clone searches for Schism, and then you can pitch like whatever Shaddol, trigger their effect, and just snowball from there. Nadir is just an absolutely broken card in the deck, and of course you definitely should be running 3 of this card. Triple SHADDOLL Fusion. SHADDOLL Fusion is insanely powerful, and it is really one of the best fusion spells ever released. Being able to just fusion summon from deck without a restriction other than your opponent having an extra deck monster. This is technically better than Red Eyes Fusion. Well, not technically, it is better than Red Eyes Fusion. It's just a really great card, and I do believe that 3 of this card is right. And I'm not even running El SHADDOLL Fusion because I don't even think it's necessary anymore. If you look at a lot of the high tier lists, nobody else is either running El SHADDOLL because it just isn't necessary, especially with triple Super Poly over here. To be honest, the Super Poly, I don't need, usually if I open it, I just set it, but that's not even why it's good. It's good with Anaconda. You can just send for the Anaconda, summon a Mud Dragon of the Swamp, easy, and you know, it's a great Super Poly target. 1 Foolish Burial. Foolish obviously is broken in a SHADDOLL deck. Being able to send anything, being able to send like a light for your invocation and so on if you really need it. Foolish is just a great generic card. 2 more hand traps, Infinite Impermanence. Imperm is just a great card this format, to be honest. It's a great card. 1 Dogmatika Punishment. Punishment is broken because in a deck like SHADDOLL, you can just send whatever you want and then recycle cards if you send SHADDOLL stuff. You can pop cards with end tests and so on. And then, the only thing to note about this card, it locks you out of the extra deck for the rest of the turn and the next turn. So keep that in mind when using this card, and that's why you usually want to add Fleur-de-Lis. 1 SHADDOLL Schism. Schism is absolutely broken. Obviously, it's an out to Dragoon, it's an out to half the cards in the game, and to be honest, screw Schism. Schism should be banned. It's such a powerful card. That's basically it for the main deck. Onto the extra deck. Double El SHADDOLL App Clone. Obviously, we need to run 2 App Clone, especially with Nadir Servant, always sending one to search for a Schism. Very easy, and this is just good, you know? Double El SHADDOLL Construct. Construct is just such a broken card. It's insane. It really is insane. It's just a Foolish Burial, and it's an instant out to half the cards in the game in the battle phase. This is just an insane card. Double El SHADDOLL Winda. Winda is our go-to for Schism. I like having 2 Winda, and I do believe it's the right ratio, though Winda alone is just enough to kill. And when you back your Winda up with like a Fleur-de-Lis effect negation, like a punishment, hand traps, and so on, even like a Mikaba, it becomes a bit absurd at that point, you know, and that's why this deck is so powerful. We have 1 invoked Ogway, well, 1 end test. End test, obviously, you can send off of Nadir going second, you can send it off of punishment, and test is just a great card as out of 1 of in this deck. Don't run it at 2, out of 1 of is perfect. 1 invoked Augrades. Augrades just steals games out of nowhere. You can easily get it past 4,000 attack, and I do think it's a really powerful card that you guys should be running in this deck. 1 invoked Mikaba. Obviously, Mikaba, you make it with your Artemis. It's insanely easy to make, and it's just a really great card. 1 Purgatrio. You have your Ash as a fire target, but obviously, if your opponent's like, I don't know, playing Infernoble, then you can make Purgatrio too. It's just a great card, though. 1 invoked Raijin. Obviously, you have Droll, Wendy. You have more than enough targets for Raijin. And Raijin's just a broken card because Book of Moon is actually pretty powerful this format. 1 Mud Dragon as our super poly target. Starving Venom is not as good this format. There are no insanely powerful dark decks running around. So Mud Dragon really takes a spot as the best super poly target for like this format as of right now, unless stuff changes. 1 Artemis, I do believe this is mandatory. It makes Alistar 1 card Mikaba, which is very powerful. It gives you a free light monster, you know, it's just a great card. Also, if you really need it, it gets you a SHADDOLL into the grave, which is, it's pretty nice. 1 Gravity Controller. Gravity Controller is also amazing if you get to the point where you need to summon Construct, sending like, I don't know, Schism, you can make Gravity Controller, add back the Schism with Construct. Gravity Controller is just a great card to have as a utility card. 1 Predaplant Verte Anaconda. Anaconda, you can send Super Poly, you can send SHADDOLL Fusion. It's such a broken card, to be honest. I love this card. Yeah, that's basically it for the extra deck. Side deck, Triple Crow. You can main this card too. Crow is just insane this format. Nibiru to keep those combo decks in check, but you can obviously cut this out for cards like Droplets and stuff like that. Red Reboot, you know, because there aren't as many combo decks this format. One Bell to round out our playset, one Droll to round out our playset, and one Pankratops, just as generic great going second card. Triple Lightning Storm getting reprint, so it's gonna be a lot more affordable for all of you guys, and of course Triple Twin Twisters to keep those backer decks in check. And that's basically it for the deck profile. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, be sure to smash the like button and comment down below what you guys think of the deck. Of course, I will be leaving the link to the deck for the download of this deck so you guys can play with it online on websites like Dueling Book for free for you guys to check out. I do think it's a great deck, and of course, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Alright guys, peace.